ruling Coalition for Democratic Change. Management of the Rabat International Airport discloses ongoing major improvement to standardized navigational equipment following declaration that the RRA was unsafe for landing purpose in recent time. And of the home front, at least 8 people have been electrocuted following winds and heavy rainfall in South Africa's Western Cape province, according to the BBC. The details of these developments, including the news bulletin, voices of the newsmakers, sports, are all lined up in this edition of News Dex. We're taking a short break to be back. Again. Well, thanks for rejoining us. Let's join Henson Degat now for the reading of the news bulletin. Good evening, Henson.
Good evening, Maka. Good evening to all. President and State Bearer of the Coalition for Democratic Change, George Weah, has bragged about his record of appointing more sons and daughters of Lofa in his government, despite the fact he did not get huge support in 2017. Compared with others in the presidential race, the CDC political leader told Lofians that he is the best among them, someone with the heart and compassion to develop the country. President Weah eagerly spoke of the importance of re-electing him so as to enable him to continue on the road and other development projects. Addressing citizens of Sarayed and Zoso at a political rally, the Liberian president thanked the people of Lova County for the support rendered him, which he said summed up to the total votes he received nationwide to become president. He informed Lothians that he had already secured the funds through the government of the United Arab Emirates and Qatar to continue the next phase of the rule. President Weah at the same time described the opposition rescue team as a resting team. According to him, the former ruling Unity Party did nothing in 12 years. As such, they are resting and should be resting after his next 6 years. At the same time, the CDC flag bearer urged Lothians to support Moses Collins' senatorial bid in order to continue development for them. In a brief statement, the CDC's senatorial candidate in Lofa County, Moses Scotty, stressed that the people of Lofa have now seen the light of development and will support those who believe in development. Chief Justice Siana Yu has called on judges to refrain from attending political parties' meetings as a demonstration of judicial independence. The Chief Justice named canvassing and political parade as some of the verses that rules credibility and independence of judges. Speaking at a high-level national conference on electoral integrity, the Chief Justice reminded judicial actors of Count 37 of the Judicial Canon, which prohibits judges from participating in political activities. The code, according to the Chief Justice, must demonstrate its judicial independence by being unattached, unmoved, and completely indifferent towards political canvassing parades, among other things. But this Chief Justice Yeo said is a convincing evidence that judges will be in an informed position to handle electoral dispute other than being seen as participants. Also speaking at the Integrity Conference, the U.S. Judicial Affairs renewed the U.S. government partnership in supporting democracy in Liberia. Catherine Rodriguez named UC direct support to both national and international election observer missions. She used the occasion to caution authorities of political parties to ensure that the pending elections are peaceful and credible. The Independent National Human Rights Commission has alarmed over what it calls inflammable statements emanating from some political actors in the ensuing elections. The Commission's concern stems from threatening statements that are coming out of different political camps of those vying for the presidency, including the ruling party. The Commission, through its chairperson, Councillor Dempster Brown, Tuesday acknowledged that the right to freedom of expression is provided for in the 1986 Constitution. However, Councillor Brown warned that there are also restrictions on the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the International Covenant on Civil Rights, among others. He further stated that hate speeches such as those that have been spilled in recent times are danger to democratic values, social stability, and peace. The NCHR chair, according to RCR judicial correspondent, has therefore reminded political leaders to respect their commitment to the Farmington Peace Pact, which prohibits all forms of inflammable statements that are often used to mobilize groups and incite violence. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, in collaboration with the International Security Network Interpol, has begun a 5-day training for investigators in Liberia. The training, which began on Tuesday, will focus on criminal investigation of transnational crimes, introduction to Interpol notice, access recovery through cross-border collaboration for officials of the LACC, Liberia Revenue Authority, Central Bank of Liberia, Liberia National Police, and the Ministry of Justice. Other areas of focus include introduction to money laundering, the use of intelligence and investigative techniques in combating corruption, financial investigation, sources of information in money laundering, among others. Speaking at the official opening of the symposium Tuesday in Monrovia, the newly confirmed chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, Alexandra Zoe, expressed gratitude for the continuous support of the Interpol aimed at reducing financial fraud and illicit financial flow. Madam Zoe bragged that under her leadership, the LCC will continue to collaborate with key institutions to ensure that the institution is vibrant in criminal investigation. The new LCC chair further stated that given the passage of the new act, which gave the commission the power to prosecute, the LACC will be robust in discharging its duties by ensuring that the perpetrators are brought to justice. At the same time, Councillor Alexandra Zoe has disclosed there will be compensation for whistleblower and also vow to provide protection for witnesses. Meanwhile, speaking at the event, Deputy Police Chief for Crime Services Prince Mobile has declared the ineffectiveness of the Liberia National Police. He said despite the logistical challenge facing the police, the top bra in the police are also contributing to the poor performance of the force in fighting crimes. Colonel Prince Mobile also made a startling revelation of political interference in the Liberia National Police that is hindering its operations, thereby giving leverage to the increase in corruption in Liberia. According to Colonel Prince Mobile, the LMP being the first point of contact for combating corruption must exert every effort if corruption must be minimized. The Angie Brooks International Center for Women Empowerment has embarked on a civic and voter education initiative in Mansourati County. The civic and voter education and community engagement to promote peaceful electoral environment and community security is a project of the Women's Situation Room being implemented by the Angie Brooks International Center with support from the European Union, ECOWAS, UNDP, and the UN Peace Building Funds. Speaking during the engagement, the establishment coordinator of the Angie Brooks International Center, Councillor Sivet Chansey said the program is a mechanism that seeks to promote peace and avoid violence during these elections. According to Councillor Chansey, through the Talking Boss initiative, which allows citizens to ask questions about the voting process, voices of the commoners will be heard for an appropriate action to be taken by the relevant institutions. For his part, the commissioner of the Township of West Point, William Way, frowned at the National Elections Commission for not being visible in the township to educate the people on the voting process. Commissioner Way said many of the first-time voters will find it difficult to adequately participate in the October 10, 2023 elections due to lack of awareness. Also speaking, Liberia National Police Commander in the Township of West Point, Amandon Conan, outlined the lack of logistics and vehicle as issues the police is faced with for what he calls rapid response to crises. At the same time, several residents of the township of West Point have raised concern about the voter education with less than 14 days to the October 10 polls. The concerns raised by the citizens, according to our reporter, spoke to the fact that the National Elections Commission is lagging behind as it relates to uh, educating the citizens on the voting process. Normal academic activities were on Tuesday disrupted on the main campus of the University of Liberia in Monrovia. It followed clashes between two rival campus-based political parties, the Student Unification Party and the Progressive Student Alliance. Speaking to journalists following the incident, student Robert Wallace said students were in class and they heard heavy noise, leading them to run out of class. According to him, they later realized that there was ongoing clashes among members of the Progressive Student Alliance headed by its chairman and some students believed to be members of the Vanguard Student Unification Party. Student Wallace said the incident led to the disruption of classes with many students sustaining injuries. He said female students were the most affected during the violence. The Painesville City Corporation has sharply reacted to claims by beneficiaries of the temporary employment for community youth that have been carrying out sanitation works across the city of Painesville. The TC workers were seen protesting at state radio on Tuesday, where Finance Minister Samuel Tue had gone for an interview, claiming that they have not been paid for the past 3 months for sanitation works, especially garbage collection across Painesville. The temporary employment for community youth is said to be a program under the Ministry of Youth and Sports. But reacting to the claim, the public relations officer of the Painesville City Corporation, Jeremiah Dijon, said the PCC is not aware of any group carrying out clean-up activities in Painesville besides the sanitation department of the city corporation. Dijon said the Painesville City Corporation has been consistently engaged with the collection of garbage across the city, accusing the group of impersonating but taking photographs of the PCC's work and posting on Facebook. Dijon spoke to reporters during a major cleanup exercise by the Painesville City Corporation on the GS Road in Painesville. Participants of a day-long Liberia Next Level Seminar 2 have lauded organizers for the opportunity provided them. Liberia Next Level Seminar is being organized annually by Media A Foundation for interested individuals from various backgrounds residing in Liberia, especially youth, in making them marketable in delivering their God-given gift. The seminar was held at the MCAN Resource Center in Sinka under the theme Working Towards Achieved Financial Freedom, and participants were taught in money management, personal budgeting, and financial abuse. Speaking at the start of the program, Media A Foundation Board Chair Nikos Andrew described the initiative as milestone innovative project undertaken by the institution. Andrews reaffirmed Media A Foundation's commitment to impacting lives across the country through different life challenging programs. For his part, the executive director of Media A Foundation's Peter Kokwe School of Journalism, Tatos Topase, the idea was developed during one of his fellowships at the U.S. Department of State International Visitors Leadership Program. Topa disclosed that the next level Liberia New Level Seminar is expected in March 2024 and called on Liberians to take advantage of the program. In foreign development, 8 people have been electrocuted after gate force winds and heavy rainfall large South Africa's Western Cape province. Hundreds of people have been evacuated from their homes, including residents of a retirement village. Landslides and rockfalls forced the closure of a number of major roads leading into Cape Town. Heavy downpours, which continued until late last night, caused several rivers to overflow, resulting in the destruction of infrastructure and widespread electricity outages. For Maka, that's the news bulletin, the foreign development.
to Henson Dega in one of the top stories we're following tonight. Independent National Human Rights Commission alarms over what it calls inflammable statements emanating from some political actors in the ensuing elections, including the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change. In our first development, Chief Justice Siena Yor has called on judges to refrain from attending political parties' meetings as a demonstration of judicial independence. The Chief Justice named canvassing and political parades as some of the vices that erode credibility and independence of judges. Speaking at a high-level national conference on electoral integrity, the Chief Justice reminded judicial actors of Canon 37 of the or count 37 of the judicial canon, which prohibits judges from participating in political activities.
To the justices of the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia, upon a review and determination of issues involving political parties in various areas of women's politics. It is the office report of one of the justices of the Supreme Court of Liberia with regard to the of matters, and while he is not required by the statutory laws to surrender his rights as a citizen, it will, however, be in his best interest and for the public good that upon his appointment to that bench of honor, even as a judge, magistrate, or justice of the peace, that he publicly resigns his political affiliation with whatever political party of which he was a member prior to his election, unquote. The wordings of this canon explicitly describe the full neutrality of the Supreme Court during elections. The court must demonstrate its judicial independence by being unattached, unmoved, and completely indifferent towards political canvassing, parades, maneuverings, and other pageantries that are employed by candidates and their sympathizers to show off their numerical strength and popularity. The Supreme Court's full neutrality requires that election cases must be decided only by strong and convincing evidence and not political ideologies, crowds, or the recently created slang of strongholds.
She is Chief Justice Siena Yor there speaking at a high-level national conference on electoral integrity held in Monrovia on Tuesday. Also speaking at the conference, the U.S. Chargé Affairs renewed the U.S. government's commitment or partnership in supporting democracy in Liberia. Captain Rodriguez named USAID direct support to both national and international election observer missions. She used the occasion to caution authorities of political parties to ensure that the pending elections are peaceful and credible.
The United States, a long-standing partner of Liberia, is committed to supporting democracy. Through USAID, we are directly supporting both international and domestic election observer missions, along with other international partners, as we deploy observation teams throughout the country. It is important that NEC gives all election observers unrestricted access to polling stations on election day, as well as access to the vote tallying process. The government, political parties, and the NEC certainly have crucial roles in ensuring that the October elections are successful. But individual Liberians, like each one of you in this room, are essential to the electoral fairness and integrity. I have been inspired by the incredible work that ordinary Liberians are doing to make elections peaceful and successful. I'm particularly impressed by the actions taken by this country's youth.
She is the Chargé Affairs at the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia there speaking. The Independent National Human Rights Commission has alarmed over what it calls inflammable statements emanating from some political actors in the ensuing elections. The Commission's concern stems from threatening statements that are coming out of different political camps of those vying for the presidency, including the ruling party. The Commission, through its chairperson, Councillor Dempster Brown, on Tuesday acknowledged that the rights of freedom of expression is provided for in the 1986 Constitution. He, however, warned that there are also restrictions under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the International Covenant on Civil Rights.
The president said that the election will be free and fair, transparent. So we take it for a word. Now, for people to come from behind and begin to big drum for war, it doesn't go well with the Human Rights Commission. So what we notice is that because of the culture of impunity, people who kill, who did all kind of things without punishment, they come out today to threaten the security of the state. We have asked the government that those beating the war drum should be invited by the Minister of Justice for questioning. Because we can't sit here again and people start running all around here.
But Chairman Brown, were you able to identify some of those people who are beating this war drum and made some recommendations to the government?
We have people from almost all of the parties.
Are you sure of this?
Yes, we listen to them, the opposition and the ruling party also. Individuals make statements. All of them will say, well, we will win the election at our blood and sweat. It's a threat, you know.
So in short, do you think they're going to listen to you, especially the ruling party?
The president says that the election will be free and fair. So we go by word. But those who beating the drum are the ones that we're looking at now. And we give warning to them that anybody who causes war and people die, they will pick you up from here to the Hague with join Chancellor. But we are saying they will go to Chancellor to join him there. What we're going to do now is we have influence to contact the Hague, the International War Crime Court, to kind of pick people and carry them there.
He is the chairman of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, there in an interview with our judicial correspondent, Peter Tobe, on Tuesday. President George Weah has bragged about his record of appointing more sons and daughters of Lofa in his government, despite the fact he did not receive huge support from people of Lofa in 2017. Compared with others in the presidential race, the CDC standard bearer told Lofians that he is the best among them, someone with the heart and compassion to develop the country. President Weah equally spoke of the importance of re-electing him so as to enable him to continue the road and other development projects across the country. He spoke at a political rally in Lofa County.
I said to you, like I said in 2017, I said, vote for me because I'm one of you, and I'm the president that will change this country. Now listen, according to the numbers, everyone say that the local county they did not vote for me. But I can say to you, I got vote for local county. And what I'm saying today, we need more votes for you so we can finish our work. I want you to vote Honorable Moses Cody, the senator. He's my former colleague. You may have your seat. But I want to thank you. I'm humble because when I came to you, I was nobody. You made me somebody. If you gave the people that called and said rescue team, they have 12 years. And in the 12 years, we did not see anything moving in this country. We are saying to you, give us another 6 years so you can compare the 12 years from that side and you compare our 12 years. You will see that we're not just building roads. Because they will come to you to say they are rescue team. But I'm glad that the young man said that they are rescue team. And they are rescue team because they lost it. They had the opportunity to change the face of this country. They did not do anything. And today, people are threatening that when anything happens in the election, the country will finish. Is that what we want for Liberia to finish? You see, some of us, we have never heard arm before. We don't know what they call rebel or what have you. We live our life peacefully, and we want everybody around us to be peaceful.
President George Weah speaking at a political rally in Lofa County. The management of the Ravels International Airport has begun efforts to standardize navigational equipment at the airport 1 year after being declared unsafe for landing purpose. The improvement is being done by a team of aviation engineers from Dakar, Senegal, upon the request of the Liberian government, according to the acting deputy manager for technical services at the RRA, Akwe Sowoji. The work, when completed, will help boost operations at the RRA in terms of attracting bigger and other international flights. Well, these and many more are still ahead of the news presentation tonight, but let's cross over now to Edwin Dolo, who is pretty seated to bring us sports tonight. Good evening, Edwin.
Good evening, Maka. Good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Sports on News Desk. The Ministry of Youth and Sports and Liberia National Olympics Committee have officially reinstated Rufus Anderson as president of the Liberia Basketball Association. This follows almost 4 years of internal crisis that engulfed the Basketball Association after the controversial 2019 election, which saw Abraham Samuka elected as president. Anderson, who led the LBA for 8 years, has therefore been mandated to organize a new elections in a 6-week period. Deputy Minister for Sports at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Andy Kwame, speaking at the reinstatement ceremony, disclosed that in implementations of FIBA mandate and in line with the LBA statutes, Anderson should conduct free, fair, and transparent elections for the sake of peace. Minister Kwame said it is unfortunate that individual ego could not allow basketball stakeholders to amicably resolve the conflict, leading to feedback mandating them to act immediately as basketball has been halted for 4 years. And Kwame asserted that reinstated President Anderson should contact the Ministry of Youth and Sports if need be for amicable time for the conduct of the election or adjustment to lesser ways. Meanwhile, reinstated President Rufus Anderson has pledged to ensure that the election is conducted in FIBA stipulated time and in line with the Constitution of Liberia Basketball Association. He revealed his team has been working behind the scene to make sure the right thing is done at the appropriate time. Liberia have been booted out of the CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers following a 6-2 aggregate defeat to Cape Verde on Tuesday at the Samarkando Stadium in Benzio. Following a 3-0 defeat last Saturday, the female national team was again condemned to a 3-2 defeat to an organized Cape Verde side, with Liberian football supporters again walking out of the Samarkando Stadium in frustration. Evelyn Varela gave Cape Verde the lead with just 10 minutes on the clock, but Delphine Glau leveled the score for Liberia following a brilliant drive from Mimi Eden. Goals from Akoni Santos and Kaledina Borges put Cape Verde up by 3 goals to 1 before Hawakpan converted a late-minute penalty. Before the match, Liberia head coach Ethiopian Silan Kidibi said the Cape Verde were better than her team in every situation. And just before we go, Algeria have withdrawn from the race to host the Africa Cup of Nations on the eve of the vote, which will decide which countries are awarded the tournament in 2025 and 2027. The vote by AFCON, organizer of the Confederation of African Football, will resolve a much delayed decision over who will replace Guinea as 2025 host. The country was stripped of the tournament in October last year due to concerns about infrastructure and facility. Morocco is expected to be named as Guinea replacement, with current title holder Senegal favored to be awarded the 27 edition. Algeria had been in the running of both the 2025 and 27 events, but newly elected president of the Algerian Football Federation, Wali Sadi, used an appearance on State TV on Tuesday to announce the country withdrawal from the bidding process, stating the move was motivated by a new approach to the football development strategy in Nigeria. And founder Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino said he is fine with the club's owners coming to the team dressing room after matches as long as they do not come for some speech. Blues co-owner Bigger El Badi went into the team dressing room on Sunday following the defeat to Aston Villa, where marked as the latest from our sports decks.
Next tonight, well, folks, we are facing some technical challenges here. So this is how we love to end this presentation of the news program. Just before we take leave of you, these are the top stories we followed tonight. To maintain the credibility and independence of the judiciary, Chief Justice Siana Yo wants judges to stay away from political party activities during these elections. Independent National Human Rights Commission alarms over what it calls inflammable statements emanating from some political actors in the ensuing elections, including the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change. Management of the Rabas International Airport discloses ongoing major improvements to standardized navigational equipment following recent declarations that the RRA was unsafe for landing. And away from home, at least 8 people have been electrocuted following winds and heavy rainfall in South Africa's Western Cape province, according to the BBC. Many thanks to all of you for your listening role. Thanks to our reporters and all those who helped to make this edition a success. Henson read for us the bulletin of news. Edwin Dolo read sporting developments on the news program. Johnson Matoban coordinated the sounds. And thanks to Mayan Toban, who has been behind the camera carrying us live on Real TV on Facebook. My name is Maka Davis. Good night.
When it comes to communication in Liberia, Orange is number 1.
Orange is the best. Orange is the best. Oh, Orange is the best.
Orange is the best.
Strongest network, widest coverage.
Orange is the best.
Fastest internet speed.
Orange is the best.
People, Orange is the best. Yes, Orange is the best. Lamakitia, Naratama, what is the woo? Company Guinea, that's the Iboga Orange, Topaga number 1. So we need to.
Company is my Orange, I don't got it best.
Orange, we want you that telephone on.
Reliable, trusted, and dependable.
Orange is about 7. Yeah, Orange is
Orange is the best.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.